Hi there, thanks for joining me. So today we're going to do another pickups video. If you've been following my pickups videos recently, you'll know I am working on a PlayStation 4 collection. We're getting near the end of my list, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. I also picked up a couple of DVDs here which represent the end of an era. I also wanted to show off, I guess, this t-shirt. I have a Playongo t-shirt. I don't think I was intending to make this available as merchandise or anything. If for some reason you want a Playongo t-shirt or something, let me know. I'll send you a link to the cafe press. But anyway, I did this one. It's like one of the kind of the pink fading to purple. It's like, you know, what I use on my YouTube channel. I think I was thinking of doing like maybe a black on white on black, and yeah, maybe like another one or something, just to see what it was like for me. But anyway, let's take a look at my pickups here. We've got Pokemon. I guess these go together. Pokemon, the series, Sun and Moon Ultra Legends. So this is the last Grand Trial and the Aloha League begins. I kind of forget which one is before the other one, but these are filling in the gaps in my Pokemon Sun and Moon Ultra Legends set. And as far as I know and am concerned, this is the end of the initial run of the Pokemon animated series. So I'm officially stopping collecting for these. I've been collecting these for like, what, 20 years now, right, of Pokemon cartoon. So this is enough. I've gotten enough Pokemon cartoons. I'm really pleased with my collection of it. It's, you know, still something that I enjoy just sort of putting on in the background and just having running occasionally, you know, when I feel like it. So I'm really excited to have these. I've been talking about it for a long time. So with PlayStation 4 games, something that I do when I'm collecting like this towards the end of a game's life cycle in particular, a trick, so to speak, that I use is to make an online order with GameStop. GameStop tends to have just really good prices and deals on especially pre-owned games, but sometimes, you know, new games and everything like that, for better or worse. So the risk, of course, with ordering online is that you're going to get a game that is incomplete. You know, it's missing the box art or something like that. They do take back disc-only copies of games, and they end up with tons of them. I don't know why they do that or why so many games, you know, end up disc only. But what's nice about it, I realized, is that if I get games that are incomplete, I can take them back to a physical store located near me and just return them. So it's a pretty risk-free thing, actually. So I tend to do that on occasion. So I put in a pretty big order here, and actually I had fairly good luck. I ended up ordering, let's see, I guess 8 games. And I got, I guess, 6 games complete, and only 2 were incomplete. So I actually went to a GameStop and traded those back in today. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's take a look at what I did get, which is Song of Memories. I do not know anything about this. This is one of those things that I just noticed. I was like, oh, it's by P-Cube. It's got anime girls on it. It looks like an adventure game of some sort, so I wanted to check it out. A timeless tale of love at the end of the world. Find true love before the apocalypse strikes. Slay monsters in rhythm action battles. Your actions determine the fate of mankind. Okay, interesting. So it does sound like there's some type of combat system to this. It does seem like it is a romantic adventure game, or maybe a romantic action game of some rhythm game. And yeah, it's like apocalyptic. So that all sounds, I mean, you kind of tell from the cover, that all sounds up my alley. But yeah, you know, this is the kind of thing that I will take a chance on here. Like I said, just collecting at, you know, the end of the PlayStation 4 life cycle, just games that I didn't really, you know, wasn't really paying attention to, and that happened to be discounted at this point. These pretty much are all $20 games. I will point out when they are not. Okay, so next up is Giraffe and Annika. This is another game I still pretty much know nothing about. I saw it on NIS's page. It is published by NIS America, and yeah, they just had it cheap for 20 bucks, so I took a shot on it. Let's see what the back of the box says. Magic lies within memories. Annika wakes up on a mysterious island with no memories and sets off on a magical journey to recover them. Okay, so challenge, make friends, and explore. So it does seem to have a little bit of a like childish presentation to it. I don't exactly know, what this game is going to be like, but I just figured for 20 bucks. It's published by Nipponichi America. I'm fairly confident in like 90% of the stuff that they publish, so I just wanted to give it a try. Again, it was cheap, so I went ahead and picked that up. This might be a little loose in there. This is the Day 1 edition of Dragon Quest Builders. Now, I probably didn't strictly need to pick this up. I don't know for certain if there's any type of, strong sort of narrative thread linking together Dragon Quest Builders 1 and Dragon Quest Builders 2. You may have seen in my last video, I believe, I got Dragon Quest Builders 2. One of my more recent pickups videos, and just the completionist, so to speak, in me, the pedant, I guess. I wanted Dragon Quest Builders 1 if I had to. It just annoys me to have 2 and not 1. And so I will see. I'll see if there's any reason to play this one before the second one. And again, it was 20 bucks. This one's loose too. I guess I didn't get around to the point of actually like checking these. The nice thing with PlayStation 4 games in particular, and I think just this gen's games that come on Blu-rays in general, is that the part of the Blu-ray manufacturing process, and it kind of annoys me actually, is that I guess the Blu-ray discs themselves were more susceptible to having data reading issues when they get scratched, and so they're all made with a process that basically makes them more scratch resistant. What annoys me about that is it's clear that DVDs could have been made with that process. They just chose not to because read errors were not as much of an issue with minor scratching on DVDs. Just one of those things that I find frustrating, that when you think that all along we could have had DVDs that didn't get scratched so easily, and it was clearly just kind of a monetary decision, I would say, in the in the process of making DVDs. I'm sure it was a couple cents cheaper or something not to do it. So anyway, Blu-rays don't tend to get scratched nearly as easily, so when they're loose like this in the case, typically they're just fine. This is Disgaea 1 Complete. One of my dirty secrets is that I never really played Disgaea 1. I did watch my buddy play quite a bit of this, so I am familiar with the characters and the narrative to an extent. To an extent, the gameplay as well. The Disgaea game that I've played the most of is Disgaea 3, which I enjoyed very much, what I played of it. And I think it's really cool that they did, as far as I know, this is kind of an updated, a true remaster piece, I guess they call it, so a remaster of Disgaea 1 on the PlayStation 4. And when I have the itch for Disgaea, it would be fun to go back and play the first one. The characters are cool, the narrative, I remember, is kind of like cute and funny for this. So yeah, and again, it was cheap, 20 bucks. Akiba's Beat. For some reason when I saw this, I was like, do I already have this, right? It made me think, in one of my previous videos, I did pick up Tokyo Xanadu for the PlayStation 4, and I had forgotten, or at least failed to mention at the time, that Oricon had given me a Japanese copy of Tokyo Xanadu on the PlayStation Vita. So I don't know if I was getting it maybe confused with this a little bit, but I was like, man, had I ever managed to get... I sort of thought I already had this, like on the Vita or something, but I don't see it in my collection. I don't think I have a Japanese version of this. I've been meaning to get this forever because I wanted to check it out. But suffice to say, I've waited so long now. It's come out on the PlayStation 4, and it was down to $20 used, so I just went ahead and picked it up. Next up, this was a very nice surprise. I was hoping this would turn out like this. Fist of the North... They've got this big black sticker here, but Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, I believe. This is pretty spectacular seeming. This is a Fist of the North Star game developed by the Yakuza team, if I remember correctly, and published by Sega. So a lot of good stuff going on with this. I don't know why I wasn't more excited about this when it came out. I think some of it was probably timing, and you know, I'm not a huge Fist of the North Star fan, but I have watched a lot of the anime. I think close to 100 episodes of it, and I did really enjoy quite a bit of it. The atmosphere and everything, it's a very you know, Mad Max inspired like anime. Like, I don't know, put Bruce Lee in Mad Max, and you have Fist of the North Star, and it's great. So yeah, anyway, this has a kind of best of, like, PlayStation hits version, whatever they call it. Oh, the cat just got a mouse, so she has brought that to me. Thank you, Maggie. Yes, good job. I'm sure it's still half alive. Maybe I'll show you the carnage here at the end of the video. Yeah, so I kind of wanted to avoid getting the PlayStation hits or greatest hits version of it. So my hope was that if I took a chance and ordered it from GameStop, I would get the blue box version, and I did. So that was a gamble that paid off for me. Again, a kind of apologies to the publisher and developer of this game that I wasn't more into it when it first came out, but you know, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes, and you know, it's kind of cheap, and obviously it's sold pretty well if it has a greatest hits version. So I'm not too you know, guilty feeling about that. Another game that seems to be loose, but it is sealed and new, is Sakura Wars. Again, you know, kind of an apology. I don't know, maybe why Sega games end up getting the short end of the stick from me sometimes, but definitely noticed Sakura Wars when they were releasing this. This is a bit of a change up in genre. This is more of an action game. It may have a kind of a Musou feeling to it. I'm not really sure. It's not. I don't believe it's by those developers. Suffice to say, it's you know, just a switch up for the Sakura Wars series. But you know, the Sakura Wars series has been something that's been interesting to me for quite a while. I haven't really sat down and played one. I have gotten all of the ones that have been released in the West, but that's been very few. They tend to be kind of tactical strategy games with a heavy sort of romantic adventure game element to them. So I think this is more of like the romantic adventure game element, but with more action gameplay. So, you know, that seems like a good match, I think, maybe for something a little different for modern gamers, and maybe kind of one of the few, you know, Western releases in this series. I hope that it is done well. I guess I intended to maybe support it more, like when it had first come out. Suffice to say, though, this was about $25, $27, somewhere in that range, new, and so I just went ahead and got it at this point. You know, for what that's worth, it was a good deal for me, and I'm looking forward to checking out the game. Finally, here we're getting down to the, I guess, slightly more expensive games, and the last couple games here. So one is Gravity Rush 2. I've talked about this before. I think in my very last video, I'd mentioned that I'd found a copy of Gravity Rush Remastered. I do have it for the original for the Vita. Gravity Rush Remastered is for the PlayStation 4. Now, I apologize, I didn't check, but you know, a commenter in the comments, viewer has mentioned that they believe that maybe it was GameStop or whoever published the original Gravity Rush Remastered did a reprint of it. So that seems to be why some GameStops ended up with copies of it. So I don't know that I've confirmed that fully, but it seems to, you know, jive with the fact that I think that the price has dropped on eBay, which would indicate an influx of new copies of the game. At any rate, you know, irrespective of the collectability of it, it's a cool game that I would like to play more of. I did play quite a bit of it on the Vita, but I did not finish it, and I think it would be kind of fun to play it on the PlayStation 4, hopefully to completion, and then play Gravity Rush 2. I also have a copy of Gravity Rush 2 already. It was a gift from my folks, and I really appreciate that. I will not be getting rid of that copy. I may even be playing that copy. It's really the exact same copy as this, just the box art is like a European version of it. So basically what I did is I took those two games that I'd ordered that were not what I was looking for, and if I remember correctly, those were Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, which did not come with the box art, and gosh, what even was the other one? I'll put a picture of it up here. It's escaping my memory right now, but you'll be able to see what I was intending to order and what I'll have to keep looking for. Because I did not get the box art for it that I was looking for. But anyway, I saw this on the shelf and I had a $5 off coupon. They are giving people like $5 off a used game every month at GameStop right now, which I think is a great deal. The story behind this is that, you know, I went up to the counter. The person working there was obviously like kind of frazzled. I don't know, they'd been talking with somebody for a long time previous to me. I don't think it was anything like, you know, they were having difficulty or anything like that, but they were just sort of distracted. When they finished up with them, I started talking with them. I'm like, hey, I want to return these games. They ended up calling over their manager because, I don't know, they were used games and it had been more than like a week or something. But I'm like, hey, look, I ordered these online. It took a week for them to come in, right? I managed to like go up to GameStop to return those games within, I think 3 days of having received one of them, and like I had picked up like that day the other you know shipment of them. So I'm like, I haven't had these for more than a week, right? So he's like, well, I have to call the district manager. And I'm just like, okay, so whatever. So he went in the back room. So I was just gonna return them basically, and they were just gonna give me cash. And I'm like, you know, like, why don't I go over to the shelf? I'll just grab Gravity Rush. You know, it's $29, but I'm going to get my $5 off. It'll be $25. I'm like, that's a totally reasonable deal for you know, the U.S. release of Gravity Rush 2 used. So, you know, I'm like, why don't you just trade it in for this, and I'll take the rest of it in cash. So, you know, I'm like, I want to use that $5 off coupon. So they put it through. They're like, you know, here's $10, you know, $10 back, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But then I'm like, wait, wouldn't it be more with that coupon? And they're like, oh no. So I'm like, don't worry about it. Take your time. That's fine. So like, they kind of finish out the thing, and I'm like, expecting them to take this game back and like cancel it out and then rerun it and run my coupon. But they're just like, I can't do that. And I'm like, really? Right? I mean, I guess I was just sort of like, I think you can do that, but at that point I didn't want to mess around with it anymore. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And I took off. Probably what I'm going to do is take this to another GameStop and just kind of explain what happened when I have to take a trip here in another like 4 days. Anyway, I was a little more annoyed with that than I feel like I should have been. I did pick up something a little closer to full price. That is Octopus Trip, Hellbound, and Debriefed, the 10th anniversary edition. Again, I apologize. I'm really bad at remembering, you know, who has said what in my comments, but I believe I was, you know, having an exchange with somebody about this game in particular, because I was like, man, what is this, right? I really enjoyed the Oculus Trip that we got here originally so much, and that one I believe was a remake of the sequel that had come out on the Vita. So what this is a remake of the original game that had come out on the Vita. So I think that that's super cool. My hope for this one is maybe they have put some extra work into this remake of the original, because I have to assume that the sequel iterated on that in a way that probably improved things that could have stood to be improved about the original game. That maybe this can take not only the improvements from the sequel, but maybe also make further improvements on it to make what I think could be like an especially quality experience for this game. We'll see exactly what they did. I don't know how faithful this is to the original. Regardless, though, I'm excited to play another Oculus Trip game. All that said, this turned out to be a special edition. This is the 10th anniversary edition, right? And I can't say that I was really expecting that when I went up to the counter, to tell you the truth. GameStop is not good about explaining that type of thing. So it comes with this book, 10 years of Ocupa Memories. I think this is super cool. I haven't even looked at it yet. I'm going to show off, a ton of this book, but clearly there's artwork, and there's, I don't know, comments, characters, just the kind of stuff you'd expect from like a little, it's an exclusive art book, I guess, so from an art book pack-in, so that's pretty cool. There is, of course, the game, and I believe this is the price I paid for it, $49, which, as far as I'm concerned, is an absolute deal for a new PlayStation 4 game. So I guess the other thing it comes with here is the Oculus Trip HD original soundtrack. And it was really funny when I went up to the counter. The girl that was working there was like, "Oh hey," it's like I got that game. I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I got it like strictly for the soundtrack." I was like, "Really?" I'm not sure like why she was super familiar with the soundtrack and wanted it more than just like the game itself. But it was funny. She's like, "Yeah, that's that game you strip people in." I'm like, that's true. But she's like, "Yeah, I wanted it for the soundtrack." I'm like, "All right." But it was really funny, and it was funny too. I was actually chatting because I had gone to another GameStop and I was specifically looking for this game, and so of course sometimes the employees can be like a little overly helpful, right? So this guy's like, "Oh, is there anything you're looking for today? What can I help you find? Blah blah blah. Why are you in here?" And I'm like, "Well, actually, I'm looking for Oculus Trip, Hellbound and Debriefed and stuff," and like this 100% blank stare. He absolutely had no idea what I was talking about, and it was just funny. I was like, I'm like, okay. He's like, "Oh, I'll look it up." I'm like, "Just don't worry about it." So I just found it was the contrast between that experience and then going to this other GameStop and having the clerk be like, "Oh, hey, I bought that." It was really funny. I mentioned it. But yeah, so really looking forward to that. In terms of, I guess, playing games, certainly I am once again able to play and enjoy games for the time being, which I've mentioned before I'm very much enjoying. Clearly there are more PlayStation 4 games here that I'm going to be able to enjoy over like a reasonable amount of time. So we'll see exactly what I play and in what order. The game that I've played the most of recently is Cyberpunk 2077. I am interested in making a video about that. I feel like there's a lot of video content about it out right now. I feel like people have mostly said the kind of things that I want to say about it. I also haven't finished the game, and I've put in, I don't know, some sort of large number of hours into it at this point, 60 hours or something like that, I think. And after watching someone else's video about it, I realized that I'm like still pretty far away from completing the main story, I believe. So, I've stalled on that a bit, but I will say that I am kind of interested in doing maybe a collaborative, I don't know, podcast style, or just like, I don't know, like talkie vlog style like collaboration with another YouTuber or maybe multiple YouTubers to talk about our thoughts about Cyberpunk 2077. I have someone in particular in mind, but I guess I don't mind opening this up to, you know, people who like other YouTubers. I mean, that I know that watch my channel and things like that. You know, I feel like we used to be a little tighter of a community, but like if anyone's particularly interested in talking with me, you know, to you guys about Cyberpunk 2077, let me know. I don't know for sure that that's something I'm going to do, but I'd kind of like to give my thoughts about the game. I feel if you want the and if you don't want to wait, I guess, to actually hear my thoughts, I feel like Sphere Hunter's video sums up a lot of my impressions of the game. One thing I think that's interesting, though, is that I started playing the game because I thought the 1.3 patch was out. And it was like the 1.2 something patch that was out at the time. So I started playing that for a few hours, and then when the 1.3 patch came out, I believe I restarted it. I did. I restarted the game, and I played it from the 1.3 patch. And now it's 1.3, I don't know, 2 or something that's out. I kind of forget. But so that's kind of my experience with it. So if you guys are interested in hearing more about that, I guess just let me know. Maybe they'll, you know, you can light a little fire under my butt about that. But you know, if I just want to get my thoughts out about that once I'm finished with the game, I'll probably make some video content about it. And we're getting close to the end of that list. Hopefully here I might just be finishing off a handful of PlayStation 4 games. We might be getting down to some of the stuff that's actually collectible, which I may or may not be getting. We'll see, but suffice to say the end is in sight, and I hope that you'll join me again for more video game, possibly anime related, possibly homesteading / prepping related videos, and I'll catch you next time. Take care, guys. I forgot that the cat had, you know, brought a mouse over, so to avoid gore or having to like put a warning on this or something, I'm just going to mention that the cat did eat the mouse. I have found what I believe are the only remains of it, which are like some entrails that are like just in a little pile on the floor. So if you guys were curious how that turned out, that is what happened. Also, I guess just, you know, because I am doing a little follow-up here, I did actually build a little TV stand for my TV here. So I figured maybe I'll just show that off. It's based on the what I had here originally. So you can see that over here. It's just this modular, kind of cheap stuff. I got it at a thrift store, right? It is particle board and these plastic tubes that screw together. Okay. It has served me for years and years, and it's really nice because you could just, like, I just built a little TV stand out of it that looked just like this. In fact, I have a picture. Maybe I'll put it up. And I built this right next to it, like a little entertainment center, and I like it so much that I was like, you know, why don't I just rebuild this with real materials, right? So I got my stepdad kind of helped me out with this because he's a bit handier with like tools and things like that than I am. We got plywood and cut it to match approximately the size of this crummy particle board. We, I guess, ripped like these thin bits of pine board and then used that to edge the plywood. You know, it's finished like on nicely on at least one side. It's finished a little nicer than the other side, I think, on the plywood, but it's nicely finished. And of course, you know, stained it, varnished it. It looks very nice. And then I used plumbing pipe, which we had to cut and thread, and then it has these kind of plumbing fixtures that you know, you screw it into. I wanted to kind of keep the modular nature of this. Unfortunately, like, you know, we just I didn't get like sort of fancy engineering it to be anything, you know, more convenient than just screwing the pipe into the little fixtures that are attached to the wood. So it's It's not like super simple to disassemble and reassemble, but should I ever move or just want to like do something a different type of configuration with this, it is absolutely possible to unscrew these pipes and screw them back into these boards in some type of different configuration. I do have the kind of entertainment stand version of this, but it's downstairs right now. I still need to like add some feet to it because we did it a little differently, and it needs to like I have to paint the screws on it and stuff like that. So that's still a work in progress. But anyway, a little nice TV stand. It's definitely a huge quality upgrade from this other junk that is it's falling apart at this point. I've probably had it for 15 years or more, and it's just it's on its last leg. It's kind of like the plastic is starting to break and stuff. So that's all. That was way longer than I intended. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.